All right, so now we're going to talk about floats and also positioning. So right here, we're in the to_floats position HTML file, and we have these divs where I just want to float them to the right, to the left, and then float none. So for that, we can actually just add class, and we can use float dash left. And if I save that, you'll see it's floated to the left. It's not going to really show any difference, except underneath there's no more spacing here. Now if I want to float this div to the right, I can say float dash right and save, and that gets floated to the right. And then if we want to, let's say this was a floated element and we wanted no float, we could say float dash none and save, and that's just going to be, there's not going to be any change here. Now we also have responsive floating, just like we do with the text align. So what we could do is we could say class equals, and we could do float dash sm dash, and let's do the right. So this, what this would do is float it on small screens or wider. So if I save that, you'll see that's going to float over. If it's really small, so if we go like that, it's not going to float. You just want to use float right for that. But for this size and up, then you could use that class. All right, and then if we wanted to do on medium screens, I'll just grab this here. So we could do MD. If we wanted to do large, LG. And if we wanted to do extra large, we'll do XL and save. All right, now if we wanted to float left on small or wider, what we would do is we would say class equals and then float dash sm dash left. Okay, and now you can see it's floated to the left. And if we wanted to do on medium screens, MD and large and extra large. Okay, and then same thing for if we wanted to float none, we could do float sm dash none. If we wanted to do float none on medium, we could do md dash none. Just grab this. If we wanted to do float none on large or wider, we would do LG, and then extra large, of course, XL. Okay, so those are responsive floats. Now, usually when you float objects, you're going to want to clear it because, well, I'll show you why. So here we have a div, and inside we have two buttons that I want to float, one to the left, one to the right, and then I want to clear it. So for that, we use a class called clearFix. So this div here, just to show you so you can kind of see the outline of it, I'm going to give it a class of BG success, and we'll save that. So we're looking at this right here, and I want to get the effect of this being on the left and this being on the right. So for the button here, let's add a class of float dash right, and I'm sorry, left, not right. And then for this one here, let's add a class of float dash right. All right, so let's save this. Now, notice that this doesn't give us the effect we want. We can't even see the green bar anymore. What we need to do is we need to clear this. Basically, what's below it, which is this H3, is just kind of coming up in the middle of it. So we can fix this very easily by just adding a clearFix to the parent and save, and there we go. So it basically just clears the float so that whatever comes next goes underneath it, and we have the proper alignment here. Okay, so clearFix is something that you're going to want to use usually when you float stuff to the left and right. All right, so let's talk about fixed positioning. So sometimes you may want to fix something to the top and have it kind of just stay there. So let's take this H3, which is this right here, and let's fix it to the top. So for that, we can add a class of fixed dash top. So if I save it, notice that now it's at the top, and no matter where I go on the page, it's going to stay at the top. All right, another thing we can do is a sticky position. So if we go down to this heading here and add an H3 and give it a class of sticky, let's say sticky dash top, and save, you don't see any difference now, but once we get to it, you'll see that it then stays at the top. If I go back up, it'll stay in that position if we keep scrolling up, but once we get to it, it sticks to the top. So it's a pretty cool effect, and obviously very easy to do. Now we can also fix stuff to the bottom. So this H3 right here, we're just going to add a class of fixed dash bottom and save. And now notice that it's going to just stay at the bottom of the screen no matter what. So this is good for, I don't know, just any kind of, anything that you want the user to always see, that you want to always be on the page. All right, maybe like a contact or an email, subscribe, or any kind of focus point for your users. All right, so that about covers floats and fixed positioning. In the next video, we're going to take a look at colors and background and the different classes.